SBD isn't essential for hypertrophy.
Squat, bench, deadlift. They're a lot of fun though.
They are. They're the most fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, you can argue not essential, but is anything? I think essential's a difficult word to use, right? Because there's now a whole crew of people coming in and going, "Oh, you don't need to squat, bench, and deadlift for hypertrophy," and it's like, all right, cool, but you can't then say that there's not benefits of squat, bench, deadlift for hypertrophy. They were the core basis of my first decade of training, and I grew. Yeah. And if you really want to strip that back, I didn't have a lot else in there. That was the core basis of my training. So are they essential? No. But then is 250 grams of protein a day, where do you draw the line with essential, recommended, fun?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it comes from, are they essential? Look, if you look at everything, you know, okay, let's clarify. We're talking about the barbell versions of these exercises, right? But they're often replaced with a machine variation of the same squat pattern, a hinging pattern instead of a deadlift, you know, like an RDL, a bench press. So are people just moving away from something that's really hard for an easier alternative? I don't know, like, you know, a heavy set of RDLs is, I mean, they're just as hard as conventional, but it doesn't have the same systemic stress.
No, and it just comes back to, like, you know, failure on take the same movement pattern, because you're spot on there, because you could argue, like, if we talk about bench press, well, pressing is an essential movement in the gym, it's fair to say. If we take squatting, a squat movement is essential for quad development. So yeah, I think it's just this idea of back in the day where, like, squats, bench, deadlift were like, would increase testosterone or increases growth. I mean, we've heard all those kind of like misconceptions back in the day, which have been somewhat pretty well refuted. But yeah, is it shying away from hard work?
I think a variation of those lifts
is essential. I agree, 100%.
Right? Perhaps not all of them are suited to everyone.
Agree.
But if you can do them, and there's no reason why you shouldn't, you should do them.
Yeah, and then I think this again comes down to, you know, early days of training. They're three moves that are very easy to progress. If we talk about weight lifted on the bar, you know, I have this one with clients where they go, "Oh, my dumbbell curl is still what it was like 12 weeks ago," and I'm like, "Yeah, mine's still what it was about 12 months ago. Don't worry about it, right? It's just a percentages game, right? It's like we're talking about tiny little muscles in an isolation scenario, whereas the scope to add poundage to your deadlift or your squat is huge. And I, you know, I've even in the last 2-3 years, I've added 30 odd kilos to my squat. That's a lot. That's huge. What you've
People
added,
don't realise how big
you've
that is.
added similar to that to your flipping bench.
Yeah, to my bench,
which is huge,
about the same,
which is ridiculous, right? So yeah, no, essential, no, fun.
Fun, oh, definitely fun. Definitely fun.
Find me something more fun
at times
than running up to a bar and just ripping it off. It's like the deadlift is the most primal lift there is, right?
I think, 100%. The only thing is what tends to happen for me, especially, is the deadlift's going really well and the squat suffers. Shit.
Yeah.
But if my squat's going well, the deadlift suffers.
Same. I think that's quite normal, and I think powerlifting's a funny sport because of that, because you know your little mock powerlifting meet you did in the gym, and what happened? Your squat was flipping bang on, your bench was unreal, and then the deadlift just didn't happen, right? Every time I've done the same, it's the same thing. It's like, I'm kind of glad I get the squat out of the way first, but it's just disappointment when you get to that deadlift. It doesn't budge.
It's that humble slap.
Yeah, it's a respect for powerlifters in competition, because pulling a deadlift after you've just maxed out on a squat, Jesus Christ. But to me, when I think about, you know, and ironically now, not one of those lifts, nil of those are in my current training plan, and have been just partly due to injuries. But for me, there's no other feeling like getting under a squat. Squat and the deadlift, and for me, probably actually the squat over the deadlift. There is no other feeling than unracking a weight that feels like it could damage me.
Sell it.
There's something about that feeling. There's something about when I walk out that squat. Fear starts kicking in. Well, that's genuine fear. And you need genuine fear. You need that fear.
You need that fear.
That fear is what makes me get that.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's one of the reasons why in the past I've taken the safety bars off the squat rack.
Yeah, same.
Is because if I take them off, I've got to get up. If not, I'm getting stapled to the floor.
So what we're trying to say is you and me are mentally ill.
psychos.